Hello, this is Hector Celis here. I've been getting a few messages about, why I cannot maybe look for some other ways to explain about the chapters that we have remained. So I came out to this construction site to kind of explain to you and become a little bit more graphical about what you're reading on chapter 7 on wall framing. So thanks to Thomas Phillips, he's a builder for David Weekly Homes, also a part-time instructor for us, for allowing me to come to the house so I can explain to you all the different parts of how to construct a wall. In this case, you can see there is a wall with a big window opening, and at the bottom part, you can see this is what we call the bottom plate, right? In this case, I'm in the garage, so there's a slab. Anyway, a slab system on all this entire house. So as you can see, the bottom plate, which in this case is pressure treated lumber because it's touching concrete, is connected to the foundation system by these anchor bolts that they're placed. They have to be at least 12 inches off the center, the first one, and then 6 inches apart. This is the bottom plate. Then you have the full studs, which they have to be continuous studs going from the bottom plate all the way to the top plate, right? So this house has a double top plate, as you can see there, double top plates. The first one connects the studs from the bottom plate to the second top plate, and the second one, the only purpose for the second one, is basically to brace the walls. So which one is the top plates? The ones over there on the top, right at the end of the studs, right? The studs, they have to be continuous from the bottom to the top. They should not have a cut. They have to be continuous. In some renovation projects, some people decide to cut some sections and add a little bit to it. That's not allowed to be done on the building code. They have to be continuous from the bottom all the way to the top. In this first floor, this is a 3-story house. They're using 2x6s as studs, but of course you can use 2x4s depending on the charts that I will explain to you later. Based on the height of the building, this building has 10 feet high on the first floor, so they use 2x6s because it's a 3-story house, and it's a space, as you can see, 16-0 center. Okay, so the space is the relation between placing one stud with another one, and in this case is 16-0 center. And as you can see, I'm on the inside. It has a full sheeting, which is the OSB plywood on the outside that is serving for bracing the entire building. I'm gonna go here to one of the windows openings so I can break it down for you. On the top of this window, we always have a header. The reason for a header is because you are cutting by creating a window opening or a door opening. You're cutting the normal load path that is carried by these studs, space 16 to 24 center, and then you have to use a header. This window is on the outside, so it's a load-bearing header, and as you can see, because it's a 2x6, it's built with this header was built with 2x6s, so it was sized. I will show you how to size the size of the headers based on the opening. So the width of the header is in relation with the width of the opening. The header itself, by code, it has to be supported by one trimmer or jack, which is this inside stud, and then right next to the header you have to have a full keen stud on the top. So I will show you about the jacks, because in most applications you use one single jack or trimmer to support the header. But for example, you can see here on this window here, which is a little bit wider, the very wide window, you have 2 trimmers or 2 jacks. So you don't always use just one. And there is a chart for that I will explain you in the next video about how to use the charts for find out how many headers you need. So that's the header, right? So we got headers for exterior walls, which is their load-bearing headers, and I will walk to the house to show you some non-load bearing headers, which in that case you can just use a 2x4 and they don't have to be massive like that. Okay, so this type of building, they're using a size, they're sizing the headers. They're not using the big headers like you do it in the school. And the reason for that is because you can incorporate some insulation on the header itself to add more R value to your walls, which is more resistant to the heat and cold. So you can see that there are some other applications, and I will tell you what page is described that. So right now you see a lot of 2x4s crossing diagonally. That's just a temporary bracing. And the reason why we have temporary bracing is because the house is going up. Right now they're building the second floor. And when you do that, then you have to temporarily brace the house before you put the sheeting, which is the plywood all the way around. So it was placed there, I'm sure, at the beginning point. And at one point they will remove that. And take that in this is not a permanent bracing. This is something that is just temporary. So the walls don't rack, which is they don't move sideways while the workers are working, and then also keep the walls plumb or also straight. Now here on the inside part, you can see example of what is described on the book as an intersection. That's when two walls come together. There is a way to connect that intersection by putting L shapes, T shapes, corners. There is another example here that is used now very common called the lattice system, that you don't use an intersection, you just cross 2x4s like 2x6s like that, so you can cross through it. So you have another one here. How you doing? I'm gonna have to stop because the builder is here.